That'll be
the
cool.
Tancredo. He'd be 80 years old. He doesn't look it. He looks great.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
Youthful, healthy.
I do like that idea of the what if. That was always one of my favorite side comic book series as a kid, the whole what if series. And shout out if you did pick those up, because those were always a fun reimagination of what the timeline would be. Well, that is kind of a fun story.
One of the fascinating things that really hasn't been explored is the near 40-year combined control of the state of Colorado by John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennet. Now Michael's going for governor. So this will just continue, because Mike was John Hickenlooper's chief of staff when he was mayor of Denver. So you've had this tag team, two guys, Hickenlooper and Bennett, that have had combined 40 years of influence on the state of Colorado. And they win elections rather easily.
Yeah, and I think it's also kind of an idea of looking at that sort of political patronage, long-term serving, families' names is a larger issue there, because, we know that in a certain part of the country, there are certain last names that bring in the donor money regardless of the ability of the person, but the name is the attraction. Yeah. And that happens on both sides of the political aisle. Yeah.
Lots to talk about this hour. We're going to be joined in just a few minutes by Ammon Blair, Texas Public Policy Foundation, regarding the Sovereign Nation Project. Trump adding a whole list of countries now to his travel ban list, 39 countries. We'll get into this. And what does it really mean to assimilate into this country? Do we have a real serious problem with, like, Somalis, for instance? You're not going to want to miss this conversation. Now is time, though, for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday, 46 with some clouds in Denver, expecting a high of 65 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, former special counsel Jack Slimy Smith appearing before members of Congress this morning.
The former special counsel will provide testimony about his prosecutions of President Trump to the House Judiciary Committee behind closed doors. Smith is expected to give details about the cases involving Trump's handling of classified documents and alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Republican Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan has criticized Smith's prosecutions of Trump as being politically motivated. Trump has called for Smith to be investigated and put in prison. I'm Scott Carr in Washington.
The nation will hear from the president in prime time tonight. DJT said that he'll speak from the White House at 7 Mountain. He did not provide any details about the address. Before that, he'll head to Dover Air Force Base for the return of 2 Iowa National Guard soldiers killed in Syria. Trump will also meet with the families of Sergeants William Howard and Edgar Torres Tovar. The 2 were shot and killed last weekend, along with a civilian interpreter from Michigan, after a gunman attacked a security meeting. Well, hold on to your hats today on the Front Range.
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
It won't be one of Polis's wolves who may blow over power lines, but high winds from Mother Nature. Excel says fewer customers should lose power today due to the high winds. The utility says that about 52,000 customers could be affected if the company is forced to shut off power as a safety precaution.
Due to the fact of knowing that fire season isn't just during the summer anymore and is year-round, we as residents need to make sure that we are diligent and vigilant on trying to prepare ourselves in the community for the potential.
If you live in Jefferson, Boulder, Clear Creek, Larimer, or Weld County, you may be affected, and that shutoff may begin at 10 this morning. We shall see. There are a few school districts closed today.
And click.
That's right. They wanted to wait till the Jeff and Billy show was over.
I find it so ironical, as they like to say, that the progressive greenie libs are all about wind. Wind is going to power our future.
That's right.
Too much wind. Too much wind means no power. Wait, what?
Wait, how does that work?
Huh? Yeah. Hope your ventilator's all charged up.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine, as we know.
What if an all-loving, grateful God just put a whole bunch of stuff in the ground for us? And
Wow,
all we had to do was pull it out. And then that provided lots of great jobs for people. And then also revenue and taxes. Oh, and you could
wouldn't that be
heat
cool?
your house, and it was very cheap and affordable. Oh, and you could drive anywhere, just fill up your tank. And oh my goodness, what if that happened?
That would be crazy. They could make something with it called smartphones and computers.
Yeah, I know. So dumb. There's a point where you reach that. You just get so wealthy and rich that you just become an idiot.
Yeah,
that's
right.
where we are in Colorado right now.
Boy, you got that right. The search is still on for the suspect wanted for the terrorist attack at Brown University in Rhode Island. They released new video of the man who may have murdered 2 students and wounded 9 others. He's fat, he's dressed in black, and he's walking along a street around the time of the shooting at the Ivy League school on Saturday. Who is hiding this guy? Nick Reiner is set to be arraigned in court today after he was charged with murdering his parents. He stabbed Hollywood director Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner, his mother and his father, in their Brentwood home, of course, over the weekend. Tuesday, he was formally charged with the murders, but they didn't allow him to appear because he wasn't cleared medically. Wow. All right. Candace Owens talked about her 4.5-hour meeting with Erica Kirk a couple of days ago. She talked on Tuesday. Sounds like it was very productive, cooled everyone's jets a little. That's a good thing.
I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erica did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional, and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erica sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion.
And then they talked about other things. I mean, numerous things. So it will continue. And Jeff won't have to listen to it, so I will.
Continue. All right.
We're
there's
gonna
a
get
few
to the
things
truth
that
of
we're
this
not
thing,
covered in
man.
this report here. First of all, watch the first 30 seconds. You see how crazy she is. She goes, Shabbat Shalom, and then starts dancing around to Jewish music.
Yeah.
And then,
She's
gets into
celebrating
Israel.
Hanukkah.
She's not celebrating Hanukkah. She's making fun of it.
No
Oh
way.
my gosh. All right, and then she goes down this whole thing about how she wouldn't drink the water provided to her by Turning Point because she thought she might get poisoned.
You never know. You never know what you're walking into. I love it. I'll have more. It's going to get really good.
Blake, you're going like all Real Housewives of Los Angeles or Bel Air or whatever. The drama. I love the drama.
Hey, we're gonna expose the truth. We're gonna do it together.
Yeah, it's called a trial. It's a trial.
I will have it for you. Yes, it's called trial. We've seen those before. They don't work out so well. I'll have some more tomorrow for you. Avs at Seattle last night.
McCarr for McKinnon, a one-timer wide off the end boards. They score! Brock Nelson capitalizing on a loose puck. Colorado with a breakthrough on their power play, and the Avalanche lead 4-3.
And they win it 5-3, 24-2. What a record. Broncos return to the practice field today as they prepare for the Jaguars. this weekend, going for 12 straight wins. Amazing. 45 in Brighton, 44 in Castle Rock, 46 in Denver. You are waking up with Jeff and Bill.
Tendons, I can see my tendons down there as they move. And the doctor is fascinated that I only slit the skin.
Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
As a Pacific storm system in front coming out of the Pacific Northwest rapidly moves into Colorado today, generally light winds to start the day will ramp up this afternoon, and conditions will get quite windy this afternoon, this evening, and overnight into early Thursday, especially along I-25 and west. To be ready for that, highs today will be mild, mid to upper 60s, then the wind up to 50 miles an hour in gusts. Higher gusts in those foothill areas. There will be a small chance of a rain or snow shower this evening and overnight. Colder tonight, a low near 30. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Hey, this is Andy Williams. Now, this originally Irving Berlin song comes out of a movie in the 40s, I believe. And Andy Williams, though, gets known as Mr. Christmas. One great crooner voice, but oddly enough, a little bit of marketing. He would wear outrageous Christmas sweaters when he would go ahead and perform these songs. So the visual combined with his singing, he sort of became Mr. Christmas before he had other people. And now you can kind of say Jim Brickman did for a while. Now you got Michael Bublé, but back in it. Also, side note, just in case, Michael Bublé is going to be performing live at the Vatican on Christmas. It's their concert with the poor.
That's better than football.
Yeah, and the cool thing is this.
Concert for the poor?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's a concert with the poor. They bring in about 3,000 people that are poor, disadvantaged, and they're in the concert. There are about 8,000 people that are there live at the Vatican. The cool thing is, it's the very first time the Pope will be attending the concert live.
That is cool.
Never been there before. So that's going to happen. You can stream it online if you're interested to watch Michael at the Vatican on Christmas Day, if you don't have anything else going on.
I like that a lot better than basketball and football on Christmas Day. Okay. I think that is a terrible tradition this country has gotten.
Okay, we got to talk about it just for a sec. I know that we got a guest here coming in. Okay. Got to talk football just for a sec. The people responsible for the Christmas football games are probably trying to not kill themselves running into this holiday season because the games are crap. As you got to realize, we've got Netflix and Amazon competing for this one, and I forget the two Netflix games, but Amazon has got the prime time Christmas game. That is the Broncos and the Chiefs. You've noticed now we schedule division opponents late in the season because hopefully playoffs are going to be on the line.
Yeah, in this case, no.
Chiefs are out of the playoffs, and they don't have Patrick Mahomes.
Either.
No, I read in the trades yesterday, rumors are ad rates for that game have dropped by 40%.
I believe it.
Yeah, so they lost millions of dollars off of that injury and the fact that Chiefs sucks. But we enjoy it as a Broncos fans.
There you go. It'll be a fun night. All right. Trump expanding the travel ban list to 39 countries now. Wow. It's a lot. Is he right to do this? Well, we have a 20-year U.S. Border Patrol veteran joining us to discuss America's national security and immigration. Ammon Blair, senior fellow at the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Mr. Blair, thank you for your time this morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right. So, I mean, this is probably the hottest issue with Trump's presidency. Obviously, illegal immigration, Joe Biden, anywhere from 10 to sometimes I see her numbers 20 million illegal immigrants came across. Questions about assimilation. Now you have the Somali issue in Minnesota. You have the Afghani attack on the National Guardsmen. Immigration, one of the biggest top issues facing this country. 20-year U.S. Border Patrol veteran. Please give us a sense on how you think the Trump administration is doing. What do you think of the additional countries being added to the Don't Come to America list? Your thoughts, sir?
Great question. So, as a Border Patrol agent, especially under the Biden administration, what we saw is the Mexican cartels taking advantage of our system. What that means is we can't vet anyone. Our systems can't even vet people from Mexico can't vet people from anyone from the Western Hemisphere, let alone those 39 other countries. So the cartels knew this. And so what they would do is they would create fake family units. They would they would kidnap children, drug them sometimes, create false documents, utilizing corrupt officials in Mexico, send them forward so that they would be released into the United States and continue to be a financial asset and operational tool for them inside the U.S. under slavery. Now, unfortunately, those of us as Border Patrol agents saw this, but we were unable to do anything about it. And so we had to facilitate this mass migration into the United States. And so there needs to be some sort of a pause to go through our systems and look at how can we actually go through do the vetting process as required by law to determine who these people are, where they're coming from, what their intentions are. Are they true asylum seekers? Are they seeking refuge? What is their background? Who are they aligned with? What allegiances do they have? Will they have an allegiance to the United States and the principles within our Constitution? All these things should be done when they are detained and questioned by Border Patrol and immigration officials. However, that wasn't the case before. Now we're dealing with that on the interior. But the reason why he's pausing this, if you look at what's happening with the Afghan terror plots of Afghan nationals in the U.S. or the Afghan Terrorist Act against the National Guard soldiers in Washington, D.C., is because our vetting system is completely broken.
That's Ammon Blair. He's with the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Ammon, this is a debate show, a left, right, center debate show, and oftentimes we hear from the other side that America has this great tradition. I mean, it is in the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty that give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning for freedom. The city of Denver went even further. We're not being coy about it at all. Hung up a big banner. We heart immigrants. This is part of the fabric of America is immigration. And throughout any time anybody has come to this country, whether it's Chinese or the Polish or the Irish, there's always been suspicion about who's coming to this country. And we've had to overcome that in order to build America and what it's great. So are we being bigoted? Are we being small-minded? Are we being xenophobic by wanting to have strong borders? Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, great question. No, given the current situation in the current geopolitical environment now, when you have foreign nationals coming into the U.S., they are in debt bondage to those who brought them. So every illegal alien that came through Mexico is now indebted to the Mexican cartels, a foreign terrorist organization that owns the pipelines to every one of our communities. They have that Silk Road. And so they are now aligned with that organization and are now a financial asset for them, a recurring revenue generator, as well as an operational tool. That means they can force them to do their bidding. Now, they are also beholden to their foreign country. Look, most foreign countries, especially in the Western Hemisphere, allow or facilitate their own citizens to come to the U.S. because it's their greatest form of exports. They receive a massive portion of their GDP through remittances. Now, you also have large corporations, multinational corporations inside the United States that also see this as a form of cheap labor. So you have this foreign national that is now being exploited by foreign terrorist organizations, by their own nation state, by multinational corporations inside the United States. And so we now have a system that was not the same system that it was back in the day when the United States were bringing people in at mass, just like Texas was after the Reconstruction era. We now have a system where you have so many different actors that are using that human being as a weapon and using and exploiting them for their own benefit. So really, the most humane thing that can be done is actually immigration enforcement, breaking each of those chains and restoring them back to their own country of origin, while also protecting our own citizenry in the actual term and definition of what citizenship is.
And Ammon, I want to get clarity on how to pronounce your first name, so I apologize. Is it Ammon or Ammon?
Ammon.
Ammon, great. So Ammon Blair, we're talking with him. He's with the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Back when Tren de Aragua was taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, we actually went down and talked to people. And this is something you're never going to hear from the media. We talked to women that were here from Venezuela, traveled all the way across 5-6 countries, and they expressed to us their heartbrokenness over what they thought was happening in America, right? So what they heard down in those countries was that America was open, just across the border. You're going to get to come to this amazing country. Your life's going to totally be better. Everything's awesome. All you got to do is get here. And one woman I spoke to in particular had been assaulted the entire way up here. So raped and assaulted, gets up here, and her frustration and anger was with Joe Biden because she was lied to, that this country was not open and that she had suffered tremendously and she still had to continue to live in the shadows. And I was reminded by a saying from a former Border Patrol agent like yourself, Ammon, that clarity is kindness. That when you provide a clear pathway on how to become an American citizen, that's actually a lot kinder to people than travel across 6 countries secretly, being raped the entire way, get to America, live in the shadows with the hopes that you're never caught with so much more, as much as a speeding ticket, because you can be deported right back. That's not kindness. Yet somehow progressives made that the argument that this is kindness to people. That's not kindness at all. That's a tremendous amount of human suffering. And I think what happened under the Biden administration was horrific human suffering. Like you pointed out, that kids were drugged. And I know that the Trump administration is trying to clean this all up. But to that notion that the left often makes that it is just compassionate to have open borders. You spent 20 years out there. How compassionate is that?
Not at all. That's the whole reason actually why I left DHS. I left DHS and I came here at Texas Public Policy Foundation because I could no longer stand facilitating or allowing the human suffering, the trafficking of children. I couldn't do it anymore. I lost too many cases. I was one of the agents that was assigned to break fake family units in the first Trump administration in 2019 and 2020 with the caravans. And then later on, to see that human suffering. Look, for your audience, this was actually made known to people over a decade ago. The National Geographic actually has a docuseries called Underworld Incorporated. It was published in 2015, and they followed families from Mexico into Sinaloa-controlled territory in Houston. And they actually got to interview a girl there that had been there 3 years as a sex slave, sometimes being raped up to 40 times a day. And she told the National Geographic, the reporters, that she doesn't even know how much money she still owes to the cartels. Look, and that's what people need to realize now is these enclaves, just like the people that you spoke to in Colorado, when you have mass influx of foreign nationals into an area, we didn't get a mass influx of law enforcement to be able to conduct the rule of law in those regions. So who fills that vacuum? Well, transnational criminal organizations, foreign terrorist organizations, CCP-controlled triads. And so that's why we had Chinese secret Chinese police stations that were found in 2023 under Biden, all across America. You found those enclaves run by Tren de Aragua. So now we have U.S. territory seized, controlled, and governed by our foreign adversaries on our territory, governing the same very people that we're claiming to protect. But the only way that we can protect them now is by going through the system of immigration enforcement and border security.
That's Ammon Blair. He's with the Texas Public Policy Foundation, a storied career with border security. Ammon, I want to ask you about a critique that's often made is that it's too burdensome, it's too long, it's too difficult to get into the United States, and that there needs to be reform at that level. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. And that goes back to the vetting issue. Look, that's why there needs to be a pause. We need to look at what our current technology is. If you've ever worked with people that work in the government, you know that our systems, our processes, our bureaucracies, our technology is so outdated. Our procurement and acquisition process is so horrible. Getting consumer off-the-shelf technology, transferring that technology, transferring systems is so difficult. And so that system itself needs to be completely overhauled. The entire system itself of immigration and whatnot needs to be overhauled. Look, as a Border Patrol agent, my mom just got her citizenship this year. It was actually, I tried sponsoring, as a Border Patrol agent, my own family in the UK that are fleeing because of weaponized mass migration in the UK, because of the crime and the rape gangs. And they're trying to flee into the U.S. They had sponsors of corporations to come here. I couldn't even, as an immigration officer, I couldn't even get them into the United States legally. And so it was, you are right, that we need to take a step back, pause. That's what Congressman Chip Roy is requesting right now with his bill. Pause and now go after each of these systems and figure out how we can stop these bottlenecks.
Fascinating. Ammon Blair, Senior Fellow at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, joining us. A 20-year U.S. Border Patrol veteran, one of the clearest voices on America's national security and immigration issues. I want to shift now to Islam and the impact that is having. You mentioned the impact it's having in Europe. I think that numbers matter, right? Somebody, maybe it was Pete, or somebody called in to the show and said that words talk but numbers scream. What you're seeing in Europe are population levels of Islamic migrants into European countries reaching somewhere between 15 and 30%. Colorado, where we live, it's 1%. When numbers reach a certain tipping point, then communities start to change and look different. What should America be doing with regards to immigration from particularly Islamic countries?
Yeah, good question. Unfortunately, when your set of values are at odds with the constitutional principles, it should be difficult for a country, whether that's the U.S. or anyone else, to allow individuals that have ties that will not sever those ties to an ideology or a set of principles that aren't in line with our Declaration of Independence or the U.S. Constitution. And so when you come into the United States, regardless of your religion, regardless of your background, if you aren't willing to sever those ties, which are 100% written down in that oath of allegiance when you become a citizen, just like my mom did, when your ties are still tied, just like in what we see in Minnesota, their ties are still to al-Shabaab, to Islamic violent extremism, to forms of Sharia law, which subvert the U.S. Constitution and our rule of law. When that happens, unfortunately, then the United States, Trump is correct in that he cannot bring that into the United States, because what that does is it forms tribalism. And tribalism in history's past, if you read The Dying Citizen by Victor Davis Hanson, he talks about this. He talks about how tribalism, once it settles into society, it leads to complete chaos and an erosion of the political system in its entirety. And all that does is it leads to violence, and it leads to internal warfare or civil war. And so what we're seeing, like in Europe right now and everywhere else, is these massive enclaves of foreign nationals that do not want to assimilate, that they want to remain with allegiance to a separate entity or organization or religion that is not at England as a sovereign nation's best interest. And so, regardless of what religion, whether that's Islam or anything else, regardless of what organization, whether that's Al-Shabaab, the Mexican cartels, Trinidad or Cartel of the Suns, so long as you choose allegiance to that set of principles over the U.S., then you shouldn't be here and you should not go through the process of becoming a citizen.
That's Ammon Blair, Texas Public Policy Foundation. We're talking Trump now expanding the travel ban list to 39 countries. What do you think of this? Do you think Trump should be doing this? Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Ammon, really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Again, Ammon Blair, Texas Public Policy Foundation, 20-plus years as a Border Patrol agent. Is he right that we've got to put a pause on this, that the systems for evaluating who's coming into this country are just too old, too outdated, we need improvement? Or, look, America's always struggled when you bring in different people from different backgrounds, and this is just what happens. Stop being so xenophobic. What do you think? 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. All right, let's talk Guy Rees. Wife and I had an absolutely fantastic experience with Guy Rees. They're all over the Denver metro area, including in Parker. Got to sit down with their professional designer who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Look, I was a little overwhelmed at first. I've never worked with a designer. I don't hire those people. But the price wasn't outrageous. And when you get help, I'm like any guy. I don't want to ask for help. But once you get help, it is so unbelievably perfect and awesome. She walked us through everything, helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guy Rees has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come to you, so you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyRees.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GuyRees, GUIRYS.com, GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Rees. You'll be sure to thank me. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS. Ooh. Is this technically a holiday song? Is it a Christmas song? This is Lindsey Buckingham, recorded this during a hiatus from Fleetwood Mac. They were talking at the time, and he talked about how this allowed him to get outside of creating more serious songs and just kind of have fun, because it's a fun rhythm, fun little bit of lyrics, nothing that Fleetwood Mac could probably pull off. So this was kind of an escape for him. It appears on his second album, but it's used in the opening credits of National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah,
it appears
right.
in every single one of the movies.
This popped up in my mind like a Ferris Bueller's. No, National Lampoon's.
Yep, it's in the opening credits.
Opening credits,
and
yes.
then it appears in all of the movies. So because of Christmas Vacation, that's why it's now considered a holiday song. But yeah, it is a fun song though. And Christmas Vacation, phenomenal movie. That's, oh man, yeah. So many references from that one as well.
I saw a sweatshirt that had Chevy Chase. You remember when he's like acknowledging all the guys that are walking by in the business?
Yeah.
You can't say any of it on air.
No, you can't.
Someone made a sweatshirt.
Oh my God, that's great. That is great. I love the fact that at the one time it's grandma's asked to give the Christmas blessing, and she stands up and she does a Pledge of Allegiance. There's so many little things in that.
Yes.
And the squirrel in the tree, and so many things. Yep, exactly.
Brilliant. Must watch. All right, we're talking lots of things today regarding Trump. Now adding a whole host of countries to the travel ban list, 39 countries. And we just wrapped up a conversation with a senior fellow from the Texas Public Policy Foundation, Ammon Blair, who spent 20 years with U.S. Border Patrol, talking about all the human suffering that takes place as a result of people crossing the border illegally. Progressives will never talk about that. They think the only thing that's compassionate is to have an open border, which actually leads to a tremendous amount of human suffering. So what do you think? Trump now getting the travel ban list to 39 countries, and Ammon pointing out that we need to update our system. We can't properly vet these people. And they're coming from countries where their cultural values are in direct opposition to American values. So if you bring a lot of them here, well, you're risking a lot. What do you think? Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Let's go to the phone lines. Jack in Wyoming. Good morning, Jack. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think your core question was, do we trust Trump's judgment on that? But more importantly, I think that's the reason why he got reelected. I think the voters trust Trump's judgment overall on almost any issue, as opposed to an imbecile like Biden. In contrast, I mean, that's the contrast.
But didn't Biden win the other one? I mean, Biden beat him 1 point, Jack. I mean, at 1 point, I understand your point there, but at 1 point, Biden did beat him. So the entire idea of you saying, well, I think the American people trust him more than Biden, well, at 1 point, that was reversed.
Now, after Biden, I think they opened their eyes a little bit. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Do you think that trust will continue? I'm just curious.
Excuse me?
Do you think that trust will continue? And the only reason I'm asking that is because we see approval ratings erode. He's as far underwater as he's ever been in office, even including first term.
Yeah, I think people are waking up to reality, and I think Trump's judgment is so far superior to anything that the Democrats have ever shown, and I think people are becoming aware of it.
But Jack, how does that explain, if people are becoming that Trump's judgment is so fantastical, how does it explain eroding approval ratings? He is down in almost everything. In fact, the worst one that he's on is the economy. In some of these areas, he's in the 30s for approval rating. That's atrocious. I mean, that can't be a reflection of the U.S. trusting him, or is it?
How legitimate are approval ratings? Come on, we get real.
Oh, so now it's the idea that we don't believe the polls. So it's not. So you just have to, Jack. What I'm hearing is you have to hang on to your idea so hard that you will ignore any other information, because that would force you to then confront the possibility of maybe how you've interpreted the world to be incorrect.
Well, it's in a process of adjustment after Biden. People are starting to see the difference, and I think Trump.
And right now they say he sucks. I mean, that's the thing, is if we're talking about the transition afterwards.
Who is they? Dude. Who the hell? Who is they?
Okay.
It's like
fine.
sources say. You're into the sources say so and so.
Here's the thing. We have a history, though, of approval rating polls, and we have it through Trump's administration. We have it previous to then. We have it through Biden's administration, and we have it through Trump's administration. I've never once sat here and said the polls are fake, etc. I said I don't necessarily trust or put a ton into them, but they're a good snapshot in time of what is happening. And taken by large, it can show you trends. So right now, the trend is showing that Donald Trump's approval rating is rapidly eroding. How does that square with your claim that the U.S. is trusting Trump at a greater number than ever before?
Well, what's the group that you're citing? It sounds like it's your friends and cohorts that you're talking about.
Okay, Jack, we're going to do this one. I appreciate the phone call. Thanks. Have a good day. But the idea is they're national polls, Jack. I mean, the idea is now, what poll do I not like this poll? I'm just saying that of a broad swath of polls through a variety of different pollsters, there is shown to be an erosion of the approval rating. And we can discuss that, and we could say things like people are trusting Trump to turn the ship around. People are worried about the direction. They think he's distracted. They voted for Biden because they know he can right the ship. They still believe in him. All of those things would be applicable to this discussion, Jack. But just saying, polls, don't believe them. I don't know any of the people that were polled. It is just a flat refusal of reality. I appreciate the conversations, Jack, but we got to be able to have a conversation about what is existing in the political sphere and in the real world sphere, rather than just saying, I don't know anybody that was polled. It's got to be all Bill's friends. Yeah, all my friends answered all the polls across the country somehow. That's awful lucky. I mean, come on, Jack.
Feel free to join the conversation. 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. What do you think about Trump now getting to 39 countries? Bill, is he right to do this?
It bothers me because it is a blanket refusal. And you know me, I'm never a one-size-fits-all guy. I mean, heck, one size barely fits me. So I'm talking about the chubbiness I have. So there's a problem there. I agree with our previous guest, Mr. Bundy, about the idea that we aren't vetting people, and our system is absolutely broken. And for a variety of reasons, it's broken. But that's something that we can work through. I'm worried that when he sits there and says these 39 countries, that he's basically ending up playing favorites. And it worries me when you hear things like, why can't we have more immigrants from like Norway and Denmark and not other countries? It just worries me that he's blocking all of them off, and I don't think it's necessarily rational. Sometimes I think it is more emotional with him, and that just worries me. Rather than him trying to fix the system, I see him just closing the doors.
Join the conversation. Would love to hear from you. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Hey, we did this a little bit earlier. Christmas Eve, Sarajevo. Again from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but they're not the first band to release this. You can actually find this on a release by the band Savatage. That's where it dropped first. But not unusual, because the guys in TSO are also members of Savatage. Yeah. But this is a story of a Bosnian cellist. The story goes that he goes home after a war and finds the home ruined. And bombing continues again. Instead of going and hiding, he goes and sits on the rubble and plays his cello. Yeah, this is actually a blending of
punk
yeah,
rock.
it's so cool. It's actually a blending of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen and Carol of the Bells. But again, the original version drops on the band's album Sabotage, which is their other band that's not necessarily as popular as TSO.
All right, Trump holding a State of the Union, or not State of the Union, a national address this evening. Bill?
Yeah, people.
What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I already read online the fans of Survivor are super pissed. He's made them all mad because it's the season finale, and they want to know who won. And they're so mad online.
Is he claiming broadcast time?
Yeah, he's claiming broadcast time. Yeah, he's taking broadcast time. So it looks like right now
Sounds
he's taking...
pretty big. What do you think?
I think this is going to be his annual Festivus delivery speech. It's going to be an airing the grievances. That's where this is going to be.
So no major new announcements, you think?
No, this is going to be, for me, it's going to be, I'm expecting a rehash of all the things that I'm mad about. And then you people are so stupid, you don't understand we have the greatest economy in America. Shut up about nobody having any jobs. Be quiet. Be quiet about that. That's what it's going to be.
I think he's going to brag about tariffs and all the money coming in as a result of it. All right, we'll see. We'll talk about it tomorrow. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is News Talk 710 KNUS. Tomorrow's Friday.